Yes, you're still tuned on to Cameroon Daylight on CRTV News and notre défilé d'invités se poursuit sur votre émission, sur votre matinale, bien sûr. Ladies and gentlemen, this time around we're receiving 3 gentlemen, but I would like to highlight another aspect, the fact that we are finally honored to be in the company of Mr. Franklin Epape, as well highlighted at some point within the program. He is a distinguished Cameroonian Canadian leader who has made significant contributions to the Ottawa community, and of course he has received a distinction which is very rare, given that he's the first Cameroonian to obtain that. We will have the opportunity to share this set with him, but before that we'll talk to another group of leaders in their own domains of activity. These leaders this time around focus on technological evolution in the world, and of course understanding how technological evolution is progressing within the world and adapting it to our current context, which is Cameroon. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
I was expecting a chorus good morning this morning. Don't mind me. Actually, I'm always excited to see you guys on set because you talk about things that I'm relatively passionate about. The other thing I'm passionate about is money. Everything that has to do with economy, financial development, I'm equally very passionate about. But technological development as well is something which always tickles me in a certain direction. And today, but before today, we had talked about robotics, we had talked about coding. Mr. Coding for Kids is somewhere in the corner. We had talked about coding at some point, but today we're focusing about robotics. But I also know robotics can't exist without coding. So I think they're working hand in gloves.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and today we're talking how can robotics actually contribute to the evolution of agriculture in our country? Agriculture, something which the head of state, President Paul Biya, has been singing and singing and singing. They say repetition is the mother of learning. At some point you feel like this particular teacher, who is President Paul Biya, is talking about it a lot, and we're almost getting tired, but things keep moving in a certain direction. Sirs, you are Mr. Cheka Norris Keba, Director of GSDU. Sir, you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
And of course, we have a specialist in the corner. He is called Benui Ferdinand. Mr. Benui Ferdinand, you are an Agric specialist within GSDU.
Yes, sir. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
that's what you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And of course, Mr. Ngala Daryl, very calm gentleman, but very smart as well. He is an engineer within GSDU.
Yes, sir.
Each time I see you, I think of all the young minds which you inspire, thanks to the things you do. That is teaching them technology, teaching them how they can transform this particular tool to do what they love. I'll focus this time around my first question to the specialist in the house, the Agric engineer in the house, Agric specialist, yeah. Sir,
yes.
How do you perceive agriculture in Cameroon within the next, let's say, 2-3 years? I don't want to say 10 years.
Thank you very much for that question. I think the next 3 years, with the innovation and development of how we're coming with technology
Yes.
in the field of agriculture, we're going to go very far.
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody embrace the developmental and then the technological schemes that we're trying to put to the public, the community, in setting up agriculture in a developmental way and a technological way, we'll go very far to supply food production in Cameroon.
Food production, that's a worrying situation in the country, a situation that has always gotten us thinking, because we're always finding ourselves in a difficult situation. And of course, I'll turn over to you, Daryl. It's a complex situation. It's a situation that needs urgent attention. But do you think the young people who are under your care, those young children who are under your care, see this technology, see this robotics as something that goes beyond just playing with equipment, with robots and the rest?
Yeah, yes, I see that going beyond, because it was going to shock you that Cameroon's population, about 70% of Cameroon's population rely on technology, on agriculture. But you need to know that about this 70% of this agriculture that we are dependent on, they still suffer or they still struggle to meet their basic needs. Mm-hmm. We are talking about shortage of of manpower, labor in the agricultural sector. We are talking about aging people in the agricultural sector. So the youth needs to come up really with this technological stuff so that we can really boost the economical value of the agricultural sector in Cameroon. Yes, so I think that the young people are living to be playing with that, gaining the skills, but it's something that is sustainable to get into more bigger and greater things for the country.
It brings me back to my thought of playful learning, and of course I turn to one of those who are behind the whole idea of Green Springs University. Mr. Cheka, today we are talking about technology within a more specific and important sphere, something as big as agriculture, mechanical agriculture. We're asking ourselves, do you feel like our country possesses the necessary knowledge in order to be able to evolve within this particular direction? I'm talking here in terms of the academic performance which is necessary to accompany those who need to study within this particular way of doing things.
Thank you, Guy Roger. Like I've been here before and I've said it before,
Yes.
we need to have a mindset change. Why do I say so? I remember when the President, His Excellency Paul Biya, made his speech to us, the youth. He spoke of us, he asked us to go to the farm. He asked us to go to agriculture, but we were like, agriculture, why can I not be working in an office with an AC
Yes.
and you have not provided jobs? What do I do? So we need that mindset shift. And once we have a mindset shift, a lot of things come in play. We talk about education to shift the mindset of our youths. Because agriculture, like Mr. Darrell earlier said, 70% of Cameroonians, active Cameroonians, is a very big sector.
Yes.
So if we can educate the young generation, the younger generation today, that they shouldn't just look at agriculture as a dirty work. And of course, to have something, you need to get your hands dirty.
Yes.
They shouldn't just look at it like that. They need to impact, or they need to train themselves, get those skills that is needed to make Cameroon, or the agricultural sector of Cameroon, great.
Yes.
Because you see, Cameroon in itself has a lot of crops. We have maize, we have cassava, we have plantains, which we export, sorry. And there are other things that we do that puts us on the map. So if the younger generation, the youth, which I'm included, we have a mindset of learning and a mindset of removing those old ideologies, we are going to go far.
Our topic for today is practically a general question to everybody, most specifically the stakeholders within this particular domain. How do you think agriculture, or rather robotics, can transform the agricultural domain in the country? That is the focused discussion we are having this morning. But it's equally, to me, it's a question which I believe should be put on the table for you, these specific stakeholders. Pull the pieces which you believe adapt to your own specific aspect of speciality. How do you think robotics would transform the face of agriculture in the country?
Okay, I will take that to begin with. First of all, robotic is in various forms. And in agriculture, we have technical itineraries that we structure the robot in a way that is going to be efficient to give us that production. That's the first thing. Now, how will it take it, transform the agricultural domain in the country? First of all, robotic can be structured in a particular way that will give you efficiency. We talk about efficiency, we talk about the production, the productivity. That productivity means that, one, if a small square meter can be actually, it can take much time to maybe cultivate, or you do with robotic, you can actually do it in space of minutes.
Yes.
Now that's what we're talking about, the technological system. You know very well, we started with, in agricultural system, we started with the whole, we went to mechanization with tractors, and now we're moving to the high level of technological system, which is the robotic. Now with robotic system, if we put our effort, learn in how to invest in it, and take the technical itineraries in the agriculture and merge it with the robotic system and the technological system, we're going to have massive production. And then we're going to transform our production in agriculture to a very high level. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is just this. With the robotic and merging with agriculture, we're going to go very far in the production system. All what we need to do is to make sure that we have the skill knowledge.
Yes.
And how do we get the skill knowledge? Is to get the practical learning materials and how to set in that robotic.
I'm going to still ask that question again to Mr. Cheka a while from now. Mr. Cheka, just keep this question in mind. The question I want to ask you is, do you believe that technically we Cameroonians, or in Cameroon, we have enough when it comes to skilled professionals who will be able to impact that practical knowledge? I'm not talking here of the physics and the chalk on the board, but do you feel we have that ability academically to impart that concrete knowledge which is desired on the field in order to carry out that particular transformation? But before you get into that detail, maybe I'll leave you to ponder on that while I ask you, Mr. Daryl, the question that comes to mind of a viewer like myself. I'm considering myself to be a viewer watching you on TV now. The big question is this cost efficient? Is this cost effective? How do you manage? When we think of robots, we think of machines, we think of money, we think of... That is something which will definitely serve as a turn off to many who are thinking of probably mechanizing agriculture. We're thinking of the big machines. How do you perceive this?
I think that coming back to Cameroon, that's where we can start with partnerships, investments, and encourage stakeholders to come into the sector of robotics.
Okay.
Yes, we can say from the first onset that robotics, creating the tools might be very expensive. Now, if we have to collaborate with tech hubs, universities that can be able to provide the service, we can be able to have something very local and very affordable for every farmer. And by so doing, we can boost about productivity in the nation. So it's something that we can really talk about in details as far as that is concerned.
Yes,
Thank you.
there you're highlighting the effectiveness of local production. And that brings us now to the whole idea of coding for kids.
Yeah.
These kids who are being trained on how to develop, conceive ideas that can serve practically on the field. And that is why I was wondering and asking you, do you believe our professionals within these domains I'm not challenging them, I'm just asking an innocent question in this direction. Do you believe our educational system, our professionals in the domain are well equipped to be able to impart the right knowledge which will permit these young children to develop that skill or that ability to be able to produce concrete things, an equipment that would easily sweep the floor, for example, or an equipment that would easily plant maize in a farm, for example? Mr. Cheka.
Yes, I do believe that. I believe strongly in our educational system.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ministry of Higher Education, basic and secondary education, that puts in a lot in place to make sure that us Cameroonians, we have the best we can have. And now, to answer your question, Guy Roger, we have the skills, the technical know-how.
Yes.
We do. Yes. When you even look at, when you watch the TV, you watch news, you just discover that there are children and there are individuals that go about producing wonderful artifacts from their minds. They have not been in the four walls of a classroom.
Yes.
But they have those abilities to produce those things that they have imagined. So this is for someone that has not been in the four walls of a class. Then what about those people that are in the four walls of a class? I talk like that because I work with children,
yes,
with the Coding for Kids program, as you know. These children have unbelievable ideas.
The thing that comes to mind here, and it's a quite sad one, when you highlight those kind of children, those skilled kids you meet within the Coding for Kids, generally what happens is parents feel like, okay, my child, I need to find a way to fly him to Japan, to America, to USA, to France, where he or she will get the opportunity of fine-tuning those talents or those skills that they have.
Yeah, that is where.
That's why I'm asking you. Do
Yeah,
you
I really
believe that
feel.
we can fine-tune those kind of talents in our country?
Of course, we
Yes.
have everything we need here on the ground. Yeah, we have everything we need. The only challenge or the worry I have is that with all the brilliancy that each and every child or
Yes.
youth have, the first thing is, I want to go out.
Okay.
How then do we develop a country? That's the question. Who is going to develop a country? You are going out, you are getting those skills, and of course, they're going to give you a juicy price or a juicy offer you cannot refuse.
Yes.
You stay there and develop that country. And remember, home is home.
Yes.
We Cameroonians and Africans have those skills to produce, I think, with local materials.
Yes.
That will enable us to be productive and very efficient. In the aspect of robotics, with the aspect of agriculture, we have everything we need here on the ground. And I strongly believe that when we start changing our mindset of believing that people outside are better than us, we are going to move mountains in this country.
Definitely, the initiative or the whole idea you're talking here is believing in ourselves and trusting in our own capacities. I'll turn over to our agricultural specialist here. What is to you, what is that quick equipment which you think within our Cameroonian context we definitely need in order to promote agriculture in our domain? Have you come across those kind of ideas which you feel like young people need to develop, and have you been able to probably stumble on somebody who is working on an idea like that?
Yes. Actually, the robotic aspect, which is the drone.
Yes.
The drones. Now, one thing we know about the drones is that when you fly it on air, it's actually very exciting. Now, with the aspect of agriculture merging with the drones now, we've actually done a demonstration in the West region where we use drones to do survey on our lands.
Okay.
Just to survey the land, to know how the land is, because a land of 10 hectares, we could move around, we use drones. That is
Okay.
the first thing that it's faster and we can start with. Now, that gives us the impression
Drones that have captors, sensors
Exactly.
to identify specific aspects.
That is it.
Okay.
That is it. Now, that is the first thing in agriculture, because you cannot start with agriculture without knowing the terrain you're working with.
Okay.
Now, that is where we begin from. Now, when you know your terrain and know that this is what you're going to use to fasten your work, to make your work go faster. And now we're talking about technology here. You're not going to be using, before was GPS, that you move with the GPS all around, but now we're using drones attached to that, which is connected to the GPS. You just sit on one spot and your drones move around. Your drones move around your farm and then gives you the total surface area. That is the first thing. And I believe that in the field of agriculture, this is where we need to begin from. And when we start from there now, we're going to move mountains to other things like the technical itineraries that we need to build up drones, to set up nursery, to do land preparation, to do planting and harvesting.
Yes.
So we need to start from somewhere.
We definitely need to start from somewhere and start doing something concrete on the ground.
Exactly.
That takes me over to you, Ngala Daryl. You have been, or rather you are, one of the lead engineers within the GSDU, and you've equally had the opportunity of seeing the potential. What would you say are young people's potential, not only within your institution, because I know that you definitely serve as an inspiration to many who are perceiving, following the direction of robotics, coding, ICTs. What do you think is the potential of young Cameroonians in this particular domain in general? What would you say to encourage someone?
All right. I will say I will borrow these words from one of the person I believe is my mentor. Is called Dr. Russell Agric. He will say, having the end in mind. And once we have the end in mind, and that end in mind is going to drive you towards that goal, that picture that you have in mind. And one of the things that if we embrace agriculture, we have the potential to lead Africa in food production, feed Africa and feed the world, even beyond. And what I see coming, even at GSDU, with the robots, with the machines, I think that sometime when we're going to come here, maybe sometime next year, we're going to showcase some of those drones, some of those farming tools and robots that can help to plant the farm, plant, monitor, harvest, and then water the farm and do all those kind of things. So to that young Cameroonian, that passion that Mr. Keba talked about, if we just flame that passion, I believe that we can reach places that we never imagined. So, Thank you.
Mr. Keba, before you give us your final word and, of course, give us the right direction to go and probably talk to us about the offers of GSDU in this particular domain, maybe you tell us what is lacking in the Cameroonian educational system, especially within this aspect. What do we need to do in order to boost training in these particular domains of technology, agriculture and technology, robotics and coding?
Yeah, to start with, I would just say we have everything already in our education system.
Yes.
Yes, and what is happening is we just need to accept that technology has come and it has come to stay.
Yes.
Yeah, technology is here. It's not to put us in jeopardy. It's not to destroy whatever we've built, but it is here to accompany us.
Yes.
Yeah, so once we accept that, our parents, yes, because we have challenge, some parents don't even accept it. Our parents should accept that technology is here and has come to stay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Quickly, GSDU and its offers in that direction?
Yeah, we at Green Springs Digital University, we offer robotics and agriculture, that's technology and agriculture.
Yes.
Technology in itself with robotics and business, because we are big at the fact that an individual can create his own business and employ other people. Yes, that is where we are, and we are a digital first university. We do everything with AI, and we also make sure we put in place robots that are there to facilitate our day-to-day and everything that we do in our institution.
The future is artificial intelligence, the future is technology, and of course, GSDU is following that train. Cameroon is following that train. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our time with these gentlemen. We'll definitely have some more opportunities to talk about aspects like that within Cameroon Daylight.